So, hi guys, my name is Brittany. I am here on behalf of the National Apprenticeship Service, and I'm going to talk to you today about apprenticeships and T-levels, traineeships, that sort of thing, and the resources that are available that are geared towards the younger age group, so Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4. So I will just get my presentation up so that you can all see it. If we can get a thumbs up that you can see it, that would be super handy. Yeah, can you all see that?
Yeah.
Excellent. Just admit one last person.
Yes, we can see.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Cool. So, I'm just going to talk about the different paths that are available for young people and how Key Stage 3 can receive targeted information through the resources that are available online. And the idea for this programme is that it's developed after feedback that's been received from sixth formers. And they've highlighted that in many schools, the students felt that the preparation for the application to full-time university through UCAS was the main focus, and obviously those that wish to look at apprenticeships as an option, they didn't feel that they were supported as effectively and that it was a bit of a last minute thought. So this is why it's important for schools to start that conversation early with their students about the different paths that are available, so the Key Stage 3 pupils, they feel their learning, feels a bit more, has a bit more of a purpose, and that they can start setting themselves some goals and prepare for what's to come. So the government has recently announced its plans to support young people in their careers post COVID-19. I'm sure, obviously, we've all heard about the scandals and stuff that happened with education last year. So there really is a microscope on government at the moment about how to support young people in the aftermath of this situation. And that does include additional funding for employers to help increase the availability of apprenticeship vacancies across the country. So there is lots of work going on for that reason. In this session, we're going to be going through how you can best make use of the guides and the advice on the different options of support that we can offer. And so we'll touch on things like what apprenticeships are and some of the myths that are around them, what T-levels are and when they're coming into play, finding a bit more about traineeships as well to support young students that are maybe at risk of becoming NEET. And also to consider the apprenticeship resources for Key Stage 3 and also Key Stage 4 on the Amazing Apprenticeships website, and how you can access those relevant vacancies as well, so that you know where they are if those questions come up, and you can show them and talk them through it. And then also just at the end, what we can do as a service to support your organisation, students and parents. And then amazingly, we have two fantastic apprentices who have decided to come and help us out and give a little bit of a first-hand experience, a little talk about how they've found the whole process. So that'll be really, really good. So why is it important for Key Stage 3 to get this sort of support? So I just wanted to kind of expand on why we're offering these resources and why they'll hopefully be helpful. As I said, the government have identified throughout their career strategy how vital early careers information is for students, and so we do appreciate that apprenticeships can be quite difficult to understand already for many older students or even adults as well, as they're also available for adults too, especially with there being lots of changes over the last few years. And apprenticeships are often, very different to what they used to be, and it's about challenging those misconceptions. So we want to offer support out there for schools to provide age-appropriate information for students of all abilities, resources that are easy to use, fun and engaging, resources that start to introduce the concept of apprenticeships and a familiarisation with some of the associated language from an earlier age. So it's just about getting that conversation started. And obviously, of course, we understand that each school has their own journey to achieving the different Gatsby benchmarks. So this is obviously to work alongside that and not to replace it. We also speak to schools and teachers a lot, and we understand that the pressures that you guys obviously are going through with, competing priorities, tight timescales, staff capacity, etc. Obviously, this COVID situation. And so these materials have been designed in collaboration with teachers to hopefully bear all of those points and challenges in mind. And the result is hopefully a really useful and easy bunch of resources that all schools can use with Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4 groups, and can help demonstrate that students engage in information about apprenticeships from an early age. So lots of people get confused about apprenticeships. Like I said, there's a lot of misconceptions. They've changed a lot over the years. It's important to address a lot of those misconceptions. You earn a wage. Important thing number one. You earn a wage, and it can actually be really good. It can be a very, very good salary as well. You work for at least 30 hours a week, and that does include paid time for them to complete their studies. The employer will invest their time and money into helping them gain their qualifications, and the valuable new skills and experience that they'll achieve alongside. And they'll be given real responsibilities and a role, and expected to work hard, just the same as everybody else in the organisation. They'll also be supported by a training provider as well, and that'll help them to achieve their apprenticeship. They'll work with the employer to help them prepare for the endpoint assessment. It's often referred to as an EPA, and that's basically the end assessment of an apprenticeship, and it's basically just to make sure that they actually do the job they've been training for. And because it is a proper job, they'll obviously have a contract of employment, including holiday pay and all of that sort of stuff. That's the same as other members of staff. And it's important to remember and to understand that apprenticeships are a real job. It's not just like work experience. It's not a Mickey Mouse thing where they just get asked to make the tea and stuff. Like, it's not that. I hope it's never been that, but I think that's definitely a misconception. So that's not the case. And an apprenticeship typically takes 1 to 4 years to complete. Sometimes it can go up to 6 years depending on the level, if it obviously goes up to a degree and master's level, and obviously particular job sectors like being a solicitor and that sort of thing. But the total duration will depend, like I said, on the delivery model and the level and the subject. But as a minimum, all apprenticeships must last for at least 12 months. And it's important to remember that apprenticeships aren't necessarily the easy route either. That's another misconception that people have, that they're just the easy way of getting there without having to go to university. Holding down a full-time job and studying at the same time does definitely take a particular kind of skill. So it's not necessarily right for everybody, but for some people it's absolutely magic and can really, really, plummet somebody to where they need to be. So when we talk about apprenticeships, people often think of things like, plumbing, electrical engineering, the hands-on trade, traditional apprenticeship type jobs. And yeah, like there's some fantastic opportunities out there still for that. It's still a tried and tested, excellent industry recognized way of getting into those jobs, because it is a very hands-on job. But there are so many more areas now. So this is a selection of the different types of jobs that are out there. This is only a tiny little taster of them as well. There's so many more. So you've got things like cybersecurity. There's a lot of STEM related stuff now that's coming out, lots of IT stuff, science, technology, engineering and maths is obviously a massive emphasis on that because of the age that we're living in. So there's lots of roles and things around that, lots of creative things as well too. And it's always growing as well. So it's just about keeping an eye open to see what's up and coming in different sectors. So we now have 4 different levels of apprenticeship. And that includes intermediate, advanced, higher and degree. So you can start a intermediate apprenticeship and work all the way up to achieving that degree or even a master's through the apprenticeship route. Higher apprenticeships cover all levels from 4 through to 7. Levels 4, 5, 6 and 7 are equivalent to a foundation degree and above. A degree apprenticeship contains a level 6 or 7 bachelor's or master's degree or equivalent level 6 or level 7 qualification. Which level of apprenticeship that you start at will depend on the kind of job. Said that already. You know, it's again reiterating that. But it is important not to be held back by whatever level it says. You know, sometimes it's a good idea and appropriate, depending on your experience and qualifications, to start a little bit lower and then work your way up organically as you would with any other position. And obviously doing a job is completely different to getting a GCSE or an A level, and so that's why this whole process can be a little bit confusing. The duration, like I said, does vary. You know, you will be doing it for longer, and for each different level. And if you go down the degree apprenticeship route, you may find that the degree takes 4 years rather than 3. But again, that's because you're working alongside it, and also you're not paying any tuition fees either. So that's quite handy. Apprenticeships in the local area. These are some examples of some ones that are going around. Oh, AstraZeneca. Sorry, I just saw that. AstraZeneca, that's interesting. That's obviously a company that's in the news a lot at the moment. You know, these are not necessarily local, all of them, but they're examples of things that are out there. And you know, it's important if you do see a closing date, then it's important to encourage young people just to get on it, because if an employer does get a lot of applications for one position, they can close that application window early. So it's important to get them to just get on it and just to have a go and apply. And also the salaries, you can see. Oh, I'm not on the right slide. Sorry. There we go. You can see all of them now. So yeah, the different salaries, there's different closing dates. The minimum wage for apprenticeships is £4.15 an hour. So that is obviously the very minimum. That is a legal requirement. There's no two ways about that. But that does obviously recognise the fact that young people and adults are going into a job with probably no experience, maybe no employment experience at all. So that's why the pay is low. But as you can see, that they're not all scraping the bottom of the barrel. They are a lot of the companies do actually offer a hell of a lot more, and it does depend on the level as well. And the salary that is then offered. So let's talk a little bit about T-levels. T-levels are a new thing, and they're really quite exciting actually, and I think it's going to really shake up the types of education that are out there for young people. So they're brand new. They're aimed at 16 to 19-year-olds, and they were launched in September of 2020. I don't know if anybody knew about it because COVID was on the news in September 2020. It might have got overshadowed. But they are a technical qualification that are designed to get students ready for work as an alternative to the traditional A-level route. So nearly 300 employers have been involved in developing these T-levels, ranging from small local businesses to the large multinational companies. And so they are actually a nationally recognised certificate. So one T-level is equivalent to 3 A-levels, and they hold the equivalent UCAS points as well. So that means that if a student would rather go down the T-level route, that can also be that natural path onto university via UCAS. So that's a really, really nice touch. They are 2 years in length with 80% classroom-based stuff and 20% work placement. So it's basically the opposite of an apprenticeship. And they offer classroom-based theory with kind of on-the-job experience and also an industry placement of approximately 45 days. There's no requirement for the employer to pay the student. And the content is broader in the first year than apprenticeships, which are obviously role specific. But in the second year, it can be 50-50, you know, core and vocational provision. And there's a requirement to achieve level 2 maths and English as well. And that's another really, really important sticking point, isn't it, for a lot of young people where maybe they weren't able to get the English and maths, and that unfortunately is the stepping stone into whatever they wish to do moving forward, even if it's trying to find a job. English and maths is often the minimum. So there's a phased rollout of 24 subject areas over the next 4 years. There's there's lots of fantastic information on the Amazing Apprenticeships website, and also if you Google it as well, they'll give you a summary of all of the different subjects. 2020 last year saw the introduction of digital production, education and childcare, and design, surveying and planning for construction. 2021's rollout will include engineering for construction, digital business services, digital support, health, healthcare science, online construction and science. So you can see they're tackling a handful of areas there, but that will roll out massively, and there'll be a hell of a lot more subject areas as well. So that'll be something to look out for in the future. Traineeships are also another really nice one that needs to get a little bit more of a positive reputation. Just needs to get the word out there a bit more, because people know about traineeships even less than they do about apprenticeships. So these last from 6 weeks to 6 months. They have currently been extended to 12 months during this COVID situation. And the content is tailored to individual career needs. They are education and training programs, and they're not jobs. They offer work preparation training, so that gives them the skills and the confidence they need for an apprenticeship, or the first steps in their career. So it's that stepping stone, it's bridging that gap, hopefully, particularly for NEETs as well. That can be a really nice little bridge to get all of that other stuff in the bag, ready for going on and pursuing something else like an apprenticeship. It gives the skills they need to find a job. So the employers are at the centre of the traineeship, so they focus on the skills and the future success in employment. Maths and English support is rolled in there as well. Developing the skills that they'll need for the workplace and boosting their job prospects in at the same time, and as well as long-term career progression and obviously earning that potential. Work experience is also there. It's not a requirement there's no requirement for the employer to offer a job at the end, but the aim is for them to just have a little bit of an insight into work, and the useful reference maybe that they'll gain at the end of it, and also the experience of an exit interview, and hopefully a job interview ultimately. If there's a vacancy going, that would be amazing if there is a job interview lined up at the end. And it also covers the thing to put on a CV. I think that's also a big problem for young people, is that they kind of roll out of education and they've got nothing other than their education to put on their CV. And sometimes if education's been a bit of a struggle, they haven't even got that. So a traineeship is a short, sharp experience to put on their CV, and can really, really showcase that they've been doing something proactive in that time. So as you can see, they do provide this fantastic opportunity, and those who particularly are at risk of becoming NEET. So those can also be searched for on the gov.uk website, similarly to apprenticeships. If you just Google find an apprenticeship or find a traineeship, they will both be at the top of the search bar. So let's talk about a lot of these resources that are available. Now, a lot of these slides are focused on Key Stage 3, but there are also resources for Key Stage 4 as well. And I'll just kind of go through what they're about and what they contain as well. So there's an introductory presentation available for the head of year, or the pastoral leader or the careers leader or teacher, to introduce the theme of apprenticeships to the whole year group or as a class. This gives the students basic information and introduction to what an apprenticeship is. There are 3 student packs, one for each year group, containing between 10 and 12 activities each. These contain a mix of individual tasks, some group work, as well as a certificate of completion for the individual at the end. So that's a nice little touch, so that they can actually see and they've got something to show for it, basically. And as I said earlier, that the packs have been created in consultation with teachers. So all the activities are designed to be, really easy to understand, and you can just pick them up and go. And finally, there are 3 teacher handbooks specifically, one for each year group, and they outline the activities and whether they require any facilitation or group work, as well as the answers. That's also handy. So just to quickly look at these resources, they contain a short 5-minute slide deck with an accompanying script so that the presenter can pick it up and deliver it straight away. The aim of that is to basically be as helpful to the head of year or teacher or person delivering it as possible, because you may not know masses about apprenticeships yourself, or just don't have the time. So you can literally just kind of just stick it on. All the notes are there. It's all ready to go. They briefly explain to students why it's important that they learn about apprenticeships early, and what they are, and then it introduces the activity packs. And it also contains 2 short films, so it's a bit more interesting for younger years, including an explainer film and the advert students may have seen on TV recently as part of the Fire It Up campaign. I've definitely seen a couple of those recently as well. There's only one version of this presentation, so there's not a separate one for year 7, 8 and 9, just for that specific presentation, but it can be used across all of the year groups. And the idea of it is that it's a refresher. It might be a little bit tedious having to see it every year, but it's just a kind of, it's just about keeping that encouragement and to keep it fresh in people's minds. And obviously it can be adapted. You don't have to use it every year if you don't want to. Again, it's an extra thing that you can use if you want to. Now the student activity packs, they are color coded to coincide with the accompanying teacher pack, so that's nice and handy as well. The packs are designed to take the students on a journey in their learning, so the idea is that they complete each pack as they progress each year. So they therefore contain different activities in each, looking at key themes each year. So I'll just summarize the year 7, 8 and 9 ones, just because I think these ones are considerably different. But the reason that I focus more on the Key Stage 3 things this time is because the Key Stage 4 stuff is very similar to the general apprenticeship advice. This lower Key Stage 3 stuff is quite new, and it's pitched obviously at a very different level. So that's why I focused on Key Stage 3. But there are loads and loads of resources out there for Key Stage 4 that you can get your teeth into. So an example of the year 7 one, the theme is imagine. So those activities, they aim to introduce apprenticeship language and to help students to start considering the different types of job roles out there, and some that could include apprenticeships. We understand that these students are 11 and 12 years old, and their knowledge of careers and what's available and stuff is not going to be particularly well formed. So this pack is to help, it's designed to help them to start to imagine the different options that are out there, obviously including apprenticeships. Then, year 8 moves on to inspire. Those are activities that with the aim to start introducing inspirational messages about individuals and employers who offer apprenticeships. Year 9 moves on to the inform stage, where it gets into a little bit more depth. And through those activities, we aim to provide information about the range of apprenticeships, including the levels and the detail about the different job roles available. And that then feeds a little bit more into the standard information about apprenticeships. Similarly to the stuff that I've just explained about apprenticeships, it just kind of naturally feeds into that. There are a range of activities from crosswords, logo quizzes, there's case studies, colouring in, lots of cool stuff in there for them to get engaged with. And then students will then hopefully progress into year 10 with a better understanding of apprenticeships, which would allow them a more informed perspective when participating in the more in-depth careers activities that are available in, the year 10 and 11, year groups. So, like I said before, the teacher handbook contains an activity, task guides, and also the answer sheets. The task guidance also includes the suggested duration of the activity, so that you can plan the time yourself, the resources that will be required, and also some stretch and support ideas for further learning. Feedback has been really positive with these so far. Teachers are commenting on how simple they are to follow, and that the students engage really well. Should you or your colleague have any further questions, though, or recommendations for the resource, however, once you've had a look through, there's information included in those packs about how to get in touch with us. We're always obviously open to new ideas, because you guys are the guys on the ground, and it's important to get that information from you. Oh, are you going to click? Oh, okay, you missed one. There we go. So these are just some subject posters. That's what they look like. They're really nice, colourful resource. You can stick them up in your departments around the school. And if you want to quickly scribble down that that website, then go for it. It's really, really easy to find. The Amazing Apprenticeships website is where everything's at. So there'll be links to that again later on as well. So don't worry if you don't get it down in time. So continuing with the Key Stage 3 resources, this is where you'll find them. There's a suite of resources there. Within the Year 9 pack sits an activity for students focused all around linking apprenticeships to subjects, which is a useful, activity for all the students to do to increase their awareness. Oh, I don't know why my slides keep jumping. That's a little bit irritating. Let's go back. We're going to go back. There we go. Oh, the picture's half and half. Sorry if that's how it is for you. Oh, there we go. So where do you access those resources? Like I said, the Amazing Apprenticeships website. If you click on the top, there's a resources button, and then there's basically a filter that you can click on down the sides. So let's move on to the 6-step process. That's hard to say. So the idea of how you use these resources, they can be broken down into these 6 steps. You deliver the introductory presentation as an assembly or as a class. I think it's preferable if it's delivered by the head of year or head teacher or someone in senior management level, just because it just emphasizes how important it is that it's in the core of the school, and careers, options and stuff are really, really important. So if that can be delivered that way, then that's ideal. If not, it can also be delivered by teachers and stuff, in individual classes and stuff as well. So that's also available. That can be scheduled into pastoral or PSHE sessions and stuff like that. You can print or download the activity packs for each of the students. Also, we understand that there's often a bit of a limit on the amount of paper and printing and stuff that you're able to do in each school. So they're also available to be done digitally as well. So that's handy. And then you can print or download the teacher guide. So that's obviously there so that the PSHE leader or teacher can then just go through the notes and just have a little quick whiz through. And then take your student through each activity. That can work however's most suitable for your school. Some of them have introduced them at the beginning of the year, and then some of them complete them, in each session as it goes along. Some of them squish it all into National Apprenticeship Week as well. So again, it's up to you how it fits in with your timetables. And then they can complete the certificate at the back of the pack. That's again that really nice little touch, so that they feel they've actually got something out of it. And then depending on the involvement in your careers at school, and if you've got anything to track and to log the activity, that's a really, really cool thing to do as well. And it also offers a nice evidence tool for parents as well, so that they can see that their young people, their children, have actually had that provision delivered. And so if you do have something like Unifrog or the Careers and Enterprise Companies Compass tool, if those are a thing, then yeah, magic, use those, and they can be ticked off along the way. So nearly at the end, this is the Amazing Apprenticeship website. Scribble that down, and there's loads and loads of really cool stuff on there as well. So you can refer your young people to it too. There's loads of resources on there for them. There's also some really, really good videos as well. I mean, obviously we're lucky enough to have Freya and Ellie, who will get to speak in a minute, but there's videos and stuff of apprentices talking about their experiences as well on there. So definitely get them engaged in those videos too. And then very, very lastly then from me, just to talk about really quickly the Ask offer. So like I said, I deliver the Ask programme, and it is basically a government funded provision where I deliver sessions for young people, teachers, parents. You get 4 allocations a year per school. And that can involve things like the awareness sessions. A little bit of that apprenticeship awareness was basically, it was taken from that main slide that I present to young people and parents and teachers as well. So you've actually had a little bit of a taste of that too. There's also registration and application workshops as well. Those things are better done in person. It's not ideal that they're done virtually, but again, that they're there, and we'll try and make them work in this odd world that we live in at the moment. Also, the mock assessment centre workshops as well, so they're really handy. So we can tackle things like interview skills and all of that sort of stuff. And then, the occasional bit of bespoke support is also offered in there too. So I am going to throw you over to Ellie Knight, who is going to speak first, and she's going to explain her level 3 business administration apprenticeship. So yeah, off you go, Ellie.
Thanks, Brittany. So as you can see on the screen, that's kind of a brief intro of me and my journey. So I'll just start by saying my name's Ellie and I'm currently a level 3 business admin apprentice and I work for the University of Oxford within the finance division. So I started my apprenticeship in March 2020, which was a week into lockdown. It's fine. Which was a week into lockdown. So as you can imagine, I didn't necessarily start my role as I had hoped to. I started from home. And it's an 18-month apprenticeship, so I'm due to finish at the end of September this year, I believe. So a little bit of background, I left school in 2019 with my GCSEs, so obviously I was 16. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I left school, and I think like most people I kind of went with the easiest route because I started off by doing A-levels at my school's sixth form. And I very quickly after about 2 weeks realized it really wasn't for me, and I didn't really want to stick it out for 2 years when I wasn't necessarily sure that I'd actually even achieve my A-levels, because I just really wasn't very interested in sort of being in the school environment. I felt like I just wanted to get out of the school environment and kind of just grow up in a way. That was just sort of a preference for me. So I then switched to Abingdon and Whitney College to complete a 2-year level 3 events and tourism course. And the qualification from this was a BTEC in business, so that would have been equivalent to 3 A-levels. However, when I was about, I think it was maybe halfway through my first year, the apprenticeship opportunity came up. I found it on the Gov website and I kind of thought, why not, just apply for it? I've got nothing to lose. It kind of ticked all my boxes in terms of location, salary, what the job would entail, the qualification. So yeah, I applied for it, and I was doing a college course, so I was kind of wary of that, and I didn't necessarily want to throw away all of the work that I'd already done that year. So when I kind of applied and got the apprenticeship and I was going to do the apprenticeship, I sort of explained it to the college and they were more than happy for me to finish my first year qualification at the same time as starting my apprenticeship. So again, that was a bit of a weird start, but I managed it. It took me a while, but I started to manage my time. And then once I'd finished my qualification, I then sort of had a bit of time back and I properly gave, 100% of my time to my apprenticeship. So yeah, that's a bit of background about me. And then if we could have the next slide, please, Brittany.
Yeah.
And then this is a, sort of summary of my role. So my day-to-day tasks do very much vary. And, quite often I kind of do one-off tasks that I wouldn't usually do, all the time. But as you can see on the screen, I manage the HBS inbox, which is the generic inbox for our division. And that's something that I very quickly started to manage and became kind of a regular task of mine. I schedule a lot of meetings and briefings for the division. And then obviously due to working from home and COVID and everything, I've placed a lot of orders for equipment. So, laptops, monitors, keyboards, and then office chairs, desks. Like, you name it, I've probably ordered it for someone. And then obviously with that came arranging a lot of couriers. So that's something that I maybe wouldn't have usually had to do, but obviously because of COVID, I've done it a lot. And then I also do things like probation reports, absence reports, and some reminders every month. And then another large part of my role at the moment is I manage the Director of Finance's diary. So this was something that I very quickly kind of took on, and it gradually became a part of my sort of everyday job role. Now he is actually leaving at the end of March, but the interim, which is taking his place for the time being, she said she's more than happy for me to continue managing her diary, which would be nice because I think I've definitely enjoyed the experience of being a bit of a PA. It's not necessarily my job, my main, part of my job at all, but I am really enjoying that side of things. And then, I do a lot more on an everyday basis. And then in terms of the college side of my apprenticeship, over the 18 months, I only have to attend 10 days of college over a 10-week period. So I completed that between September and December in 2020. And out of those 10 sessions, only 2 of them were on campus. The other 8 were on Teams, which again, a little bit strange, but I think once I got into it, it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then in terms of the recruitment process with this apprenticeship, it was definitely a case of me applying and then going into college to speak to their apprenticeship team, doing some maths and English questions just to check I was kind of still on top of my maths and English. And then I got offered an interview. I was very lucky to, do my interview in person. And then I got a call the next day to say I'd been offered the apprenticeship, and that's when I sort of spoke to college about completing my qualification alongside it. And then, sorry, I just feel like I've spoken so much. And then to sort of just finish off why I think apprenticeships are great for me, in my personal opinion, I couldn't say anything bad about apprenticeships. I think in terms of obviously the experience you get, it looks great on your CV. Obviously, you're earning a salary, which nobody can really complain about. You're also getting the qualification, level 3 qualification, which is, it's great. It's just something that I think for me personally, when I was in year 11, wasn't spoken about enough. And I think I would have done one sooner if I, had the information and had the knowledge about apprenticeships. And then also the life skills that you gain from apprenticeships, like my confidence and independence has really shot up, because this time last year, I would never be speaking to you right now on a Zoom call, just because I've never been that type of person. But since doing this apprenticeship, I think I've, it's also changed my mindset in a way of why not speak to people, why not preach about apprenticeships and say how great they are. So yeah, I hope that was informative, and I'll hand either back to Brittany or hand over to Freya. So thank you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. That was really great. Glad to hear it. Freya, do you want to just do a little bit on what you've done, and then we'll do some quick questions at the end.
Yep. So my name's Freya. I am a level 3 business administrator apprentice, and I work for Oxford University Hospitals. So I started in 2019 after I finished my GCSEs, and I started as a level 2 business administrator at the John Radcliffe Hospital, and I work in maternity in fetal and maternal medicine. So then also after that, in September 2020, I continued my professional development and started my level 3, which I'm doing now. So when I did my GCSEs, I worked really hard at school. I was quite quiet at school. I wasn't very confident, but I kind of felt a bit pushed to do A-levels because I could get the grades. And I did get the grades in the end, but I just thought that I wanted to try something else, and I just wasn't sure it was for me. So I did lots of research, and luckily enough, actually, there was a recruitment event that came to my school, and I saw Oxford University Hospitals, and I realised that was something I wanted to do. And I didn't do anything business related beforehand. I didn't really have much experience in the workplace, but I knew that I was enthusiastic. I had like the basic kind of social skills. I had had a job before, and I just thought I'd apply. And I thought the great thing was, because the level 2 was a 13-month course and job, I wasn't tied to the job. So if I say didn't want to do it, I could try A-levels afterwards. So that's the kind of great thing about apprenticeships. They're so flexible. So I started in 2019, and I was really lucky. It wasn't when coronavirus was around, so I managed to kind of see the normal kind of side of working where I work. So I did my apprenticeship then, and then I moved on to my level 3, which I'm doing now, which I'm really loving. It's amazing. And so the normal things I do in my kind of day-to-day role, I'm currently working on site at Oxford University Hospitals, and I normally process referrals for my department. I prep multidisciplinary clinics. I make different types of clinic appointments. I answer lots of different phone calls from lots of different people. I sometimes have to sit on reception and man reception for a day. And I also track and retrieve patient notes. I do a lot more than that, but those are the kind of main things I do in my day-to-day role. So what I would say is I do similar to Ellie in terms of, so I'm mainly based in the office. I'm normally working, but Oxford University Hospitals, they give me 4 hours a week to do study time, and then I get one study day a month. so I can choose when I get that time, and I also get paid for that time as well. So normally I take it normally 12:30, or sometimes I finish at 3 o'clock and take them within 2 days. And I just think that's been great for me in terms of balancing the workload, because I think apprenticeships can be quite full on, and I think sometimes people think like it's the easy option, and I think definitely they're not the easy option, but they are a great option. So I would say that they're great and they are really educational. So I also do a business course, and like I said, I didn't do business before, but I decided I wanted to do business. I thought it'd be quite a good starting point, and then I could kind of branch out and choose where I wanted to be. So after this apprenticeship, I'm not quite sure what I want to do. I might do a higher level apprenticeship, like Brittany said, or I might actually try and apply for a role in the trust. So I'm not quite sure what I want to do, but I would say my apprenticeship has helped me gain so many new things that I just feel like I wouldn't have necessarily gained in sixth form. So I'm the current chair of the OUH network committee. So we kind of arrange events for young apprentices who have just come from school, and we also arrange enrichment events for them to meet senior members of staff and do workplace shadowing, lots of really exciting things, and also to support them as well as I'm also an ambassador for apprenticeships, and these all of these little things that I can put on my CV have helped me gain confidence. And like Ellie said, I don't know if I'd be here if I didn't do an apprenticeship, and I don't think I'd have the confidence to talk on this Zoom meeting, because beforehand I was just so quiet. I wasn't very confident in myself, but now I feel so confident. And even like little things like when I first started, I was so scared of answering the phone. I just had this thing about answering the phone. I didn't want to answer the phone, but I got supported through even just little things like that. I was shown how to do it. I wasn't expected to do anything. And then I gradually managed to do it. And now I can just pick up the phone with no hesitation. I feel fine. And even like valuable workplace experiences, I've experienced lots of different things in the workplace, situations in the workplace, even when coronavirus started and my department was quite understaffed. And there was one day actually, thankfully I had been there for quite a long time, but there was one day so many people were off sick, so many admin people were off sick, and I came in and everyone was like, I can't believe you're here. And I managed that day to coordinate the whole of admin, because I've had the support and experience, and also people who were non-admin managed to chip in and help me. So there was always that kind of support, even if there weren't admin in, they were always supporting me. And also like things like enrichment opportunities I'm given. So for example, I did a workplace rotation a couple of weeks ago in OUH, and I did it with clinical governance. So whenever there are incidents that are reported, I went and basically helped out. I did minute meetings, I helped with meetings, I did lots of spreadsheet work, and it was really exciting, completely different to my normal role, but I just got that experience, and I just thought it was just such a great experience, and I continue to do that from my course. And the last thing is to embrace challenges. I mean, before, like I said, I wasn't very confident. I just didn't really feel like I could do much, but now I just feel like I could kind of do anything. I just feel so much more confident than I was before. And I think this apprenticeship, I wouldn't have been able to do everything I'm doing at the moment and continue to do with this apprenticeship, sorry. But I'm really enjoying it. And I've put some tips on as well that I would give to apprentices. So I would research the organisation where the apprenticeship they're looking for is. I personally went on the Gov.uk website and had a look, and I did it before I actually even took my GCSEs, just to make sure that I had all my options open. So for OUH, I made sure to research their values and their ethos. And then I also inquired about the different types and different levels of apprenticeships that were on offer. So I started the level 2 when I finished my GCSEs, but then I knew I could progress onto the level 3, which was really good. And also before the interview, I prepared. So I got my mum to actually just ask me questions, interview questions, and like basically, I think actually a couple of the questions came up, which was great because I was really shocked. But if you even just like reading through the job description, just things like that really helped me, and it just made me feel so much more prepared. And I felt, because of my parents, my brother, one of my older brothers had done an apprenticeship, they kind of had that experience. But even just little things like those tips, I think is great. And I just think people should just follow their instincts with apprenticeships, and anything that sparks your interest is great.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Freya. I want to do one now. from both of you. That's excellent. So I will just take some questions if we've got time for any quick questions. Where's my mouse gone? I'll just go back into the Zoom and stop sharing, and then I can have a look at any in the chat box. Sorry, we've overrun a little bit. Is there anything? Oh no, just really lovely comments about you guys. That's excellent. No, that's great. Has anyone got any questions? No. Good. Okay, great. Well, yeah. Sorry, we did it right up to the wire with time, but no, that's really good. I just please go and have a look at the Amazing Apprenticeships website. I can't recommend it enough. Everything is just literally you just get on with it. It's all there. So yeah. Hopefully you found that helpful. Thank you very much to Freya and Ellie again, and yeah, thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No worries. Thank you.